Have you ever wondered what if the first sign of kidney trouble wasn't hidden in a blood test, but quietly staring back at you every morning in the bathroom mirror? Most people believe kidney disease begins the day a laboratory report shows something is wrong. That is a comforting thought, because it suggests there will always be a clear warning before anything serious happens. But your body doesn't actually work that way. Long before kidney function drops enough to trigger an alarming test result, your body often starts leaving small clues in places you see every single day. The problem is that these clues are so ordinary that they are almost always blamed on something else. A little fatigue becomes just getting older. Dry skin is dismissed as the weather. Puffy eyes are blamed on poor sleep. Foamy urine is ignored because it doesn't hurt. Even subtle changes in your nails rarely make anyone think about their kidneys. This is exactly why chronic kidney disease can quietly progress for years without attracting much attention. Your kidneys are remarkably resilient. They continue working even after losing a significant amount of their filtering ability, allowing damage to build silently in the background while life carries on as usual. By the time many people finally realize something is wrong, valuable kidney function may already be gone. The encouraging news is that your kidneys are rarely completely silent. They simply communicate in a language most people were never taught to understand. Instead of pain, they send subtle changes through your skin, your urine, your energy levels, your taste buds, and even your fingernails. Learning to recognize these quiet messages can give you an opportunity to act while your body is still capable of protecting itself. If you enjoy practical, science-based explanations that make complex health topics easy to understand, consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss future videos designed to help you stay healthier, stronger, and more independent for years to come. In today's video, we're going to uncover 8 early signs that your kidneys may be asking for attention long before most people would ever suspect a problem, and you'll discover why recognizing them early could make a meaningful difference not only for your kidneys, but for your overall health. Why these signs matter more than most people realize. Throughout my years studying how the body changes with age, I've noticed one pattern that repeats itself again and again. The most dangerous health conditions are often not the ones that cause the most discomfort in the beginning. They are the ones that quietly blend into everyday life until they become impossible to ignore. Chronic kidney disease is one of the clearest examples of this. During stages 2 and 3, many people continue working, traveling, spending time with family, and following their normal routines without realizing that thousands of tiny filtering units inside their kidneys may already be under increasing strain. What makes this especially challenging is that the early warning signs rarely seem connected to the kidneys. Feeling tired can easily be blamed on getting older. Dry, itchy skin may seem like a seasonal problem. Swollen eyes might be dismissed as a poor night's sleep. A strange taste in the mouth could be blamed on something you ate, while mild ankle swelling is often explained away as simply standing too long. Even persistent fatigue is commonly linked to stress, low vitamin levels, or a busy lifestyle. Because each symptom appears harmless on its own, many people never think to connect the dots. I believe this is one of the biggest reasons kidney disease is so often discovered later than it should be. According to the National Kidney Foundation, approximately 90% of people living with chronic kidney disease do not know they have it. The reason is not that the kidneys fail overnight, it is because the body adapts remarkably well while quietly losing more and more of its filtering capacity, allowing damage to build long before obvious symptoms appear. By the time routine testing finally reveals a problem, a significant number of nephrons, the tiny filters responsible for cleaning your blood, may already be permanently lost. That is exactly why I want to walk through these 8 early signs with you today. My goal is not to create fear, but to help you recognize patterns that are often overlooked while there is still time to respond. If you've never heard this explained this way before, I'd love to know where you're watching from. So leave your city or state in the comments. Now, let's begin with one of the earliest and most overlooked clues your kidneys may quietly reveal. 1. Foamy urine. When your kidney filter starts losing its precision. One of the first things I want you to understand is that this sign is not really about urine at all. It is about how well your kidneys are performing one of the most important jobs in your entire body. Every day, millions of tiny filters called nephrons carefully decide what should stay in your bloodstream and what should be removed as waste. Think of them as highly trained security guards rather than simple strainers. Their job is to allow waste products to pass through while holding on to valuable substances your body still needs, especially proteins. Compare this process to making a fresh cup of coffee with a paper coffee filter. When the filter is intact, the water flows through while the coffee grounds remain exactly where they belong. But if that paper develops tiny tears, the grounds begin slipping into your cup. You may not notice the damage immediately, yet the drink is no longer as clean as it should be. Your kidneys work in much the same way. When those microscopic filters begin losing their precision, small amounts of protein can escape into the urine instead of staying in your bloodstream where they belong. This condition, known as albuminuria, is one of the earliest warning signs that the filtering system is under stress, often long before kidney function drops enough to appear abnormal on routine blood tests. If you want to watch for this sign, I recommend paying attention to your first urination of the morning for several days, rather than relying on a single observation. Persistent foam that remains on the surface for a few minutes deserves far more attention than bubbles that disappear almost immediately. A forceful stream hitting the toilet water can create temporary bubbles in perfectly healthy urine, so one isolated episode should never be used to draw conclusions. What matters is a consistent pattern that appears again and again. The encouraging part is that recognizing this sign early gives you an opportunity to start an important conversation and have simple urine testing performed before more filtering units are lost. And while protein leakage is one of the earliest clues many people notice, it is far from the only one. But what if your kidneys aren't leaking protein yet, and they're sending a signal somewhere even easier to see? 2. Half and half. Nails. A quiet clue. Hiding in plain sight. If someone asked me whether it is possible to spot a hint of declining kidney function by looking at a person's hands for just a few seconds, many people would probably be surprised by my answer. While no one can diagnose kidney disease simply by examining your fingernails, there's one unusual nail change that has fascinated kidney specialists for decades because of how closely it can be associated with chronic kidney disease. It is called half and half nails, also known as Lindsay nails. Instead of the healthy pink color most nails have, the lower portion of the nail, closest to the cuticle, appears pale or almost white, while the upper portion develops a reddish-brown or darker band with a remarkably clear line separating the two colors. At first glance, it can almost look as though someone carefully painted the bottom half of the nail white and left the top half untouched. It is a subtle change, but once you recognize it, it becomes surprisingly easy to notice. I find this sign especially interesting because it reminds us that healthy kidneys do much more than filter waste. As kidney function gradually declines, changes in circulation, the buildup of waste products, and shifts in the tiny blood vessels beneath the nail bed can all influence the way the nails look. Over time, these changes may alter pigmentation and blood flow enough to produce this distinctive appearance. In other words, your nails are not changing because something is wrong with the nails themselves. They may simply be reflecting changes taking place much deeper inside the body. Research suggests that approximately 20% to 50% of people living with chronic kidney disease may develop half and half nails. That also means many people with kidney disease will never experience this sign, so its absence certainly does not rule anything out. However, when this nail pattern does appear, especially alongside other early warning signs we are discussing today, it deserves careful attention rather than being dismissed as a normal part of aging. If you would like to check your own nails, look at them under natural daylight without nail polish or artificial coloring, since both can easily hide subtle differences in pigmentation. Compare several fingers rather than focusing on just one nail, and remember that many other conditions can also affect nail color. This is never a sign to diagnose yourself, but it can be an excellent reason to ask for a proper evaluation if other symptoms are also present. Your fingernails may quietly reveal changes occurring beneath the surface, but they are not always the first place your body chooses to speak. But your skin may begin speaking even before your nails do. 3. Dry, itchy skin. When your body starts losing its natural protective barrier, dry, itchy skin is one of those changes that almost everyone expects as the years go by. I've heard countless people describe it as nothing more than dry weather, aging, or spending too much time in air-conditioned or heated rooms. While those explanations are often true, I also think it's important to understand that your skin is much more than a protective covering. It is a living barrier that depends on the rest of your body working in balance, and your kidneys play a surprisingly important role in helping maintain that balance. Rather than thinking only about waste products building up, I want you to picture your skin as a large sponge. When a sponge is healthy, it absorbs and holds water, remaining soft, flexible, and resilient. But if its structure begins to break down, water escapes much more easily, leaving it stiff, rough, and brittle. Your skin behaves in a very similar way. As kidney function gradually changes, the body's ability to maintain the right balance of minerals and fluids can also become less efficient. Over time, that imbalance may weaken the skin's natural moisture barrier, making it harder to retain hydration even if you're drinking enough water. This is why some people notice persistent dryness that doesn't seem to improve with ordinary lotions alone. The skin may begin feeling tight after a shower, become flaky around the arms or legs, or develop an itch that comes and goes without any obvious rash. Instead of looking inflamed like a typical allergy, the skin often appears simply dry and irritated, as though it has lost its natural ability to protect itself. One habit I often recommend is surprisingly simple. Choose warm water instead of very hot showers, since hot water strips away the skin's natural oils even faster. Then apply a fragrance-free moisturizer while the skin is still slightly damp. That helps trap moisture before it has a chance to evaporate. Although this won't address an underlying kidney problem, it can help support the skin's protective barrier while you pay attention to other changes your body may be showing. Most importantly, if persistent itching continues without a visible rash or another clear explanation, don't automatically assume it's just an allergy or another normal part of getting older. Sometimes your skin is reflecting changes happening much deeper inside the body. Then comes a symptom many people blame on aging, but the real story begins somewhere completely different. 4. A metallic taste in your mouth, when eating no longer feels the same. Not every early kidney warning sign can be seen in the mirror. Some are noticed only when you sit down for a meal and realize that foods you once enjoyed suddenly seem different. One of the most overlooked examples is a persistent metallic taste in the mouth. People often describe it as feeling as though they are sucking on a coin or having a strange bitter flavor that refuses to disappear, even after brushing their teeth. I find this symptom especially interesting because it reminds us that our sense of taste is closely connected to what is happening throughout the body. Healthy kidneys continuously remove waste products from the bloodstream when their filtering ability begins to decline, even gradually. One of those waste products, called urea, can start accumulating in the blood. As urea circulates, small amounts may also enter the saliva. Inside the mouth, bacteria can break it down into compounds that change the way your taste buds perceive food, leaving behind that unpleasant metallic sensation. At first, this may seem like nothing more than an annoyance, but over time, it can have much bigger consequences than most people realize. When food no longer tastes enjoyable, many people naturally begin eating less. Meals become smaller, favorite foods lose their appeal, and maintaining a balanced diet becomes more difficult. Gradually, this may contribute to unintended weight loss and inadequate protein intake, both of which are especially concerning as we grow older because protein is essential for preserving muscle strength, immune function, and independence. Imagine preparing your favorite home-cooked meal only to discover that every bite carries the faint taste of metal. After a while, eating becomes something you do because you have to, not because you want to. That subtle shift can slowly affect nutrition long before anyone connects it to kidney health. If you notice a metallic taste that lingers for days or weeks, especially if it appears alongside several of the other signs we've discussed today, don't ignore it. Pay attention to how long it lasts and whether your appetite is beginning to change. Patterns are often far more meaningful than isolated episodes, and once eating becomes harder, your energy often follows. Persistent fatigue. When your kidneys stop sending an important message, feeling tired is so common after the age of 50 that many people stop questioning it altogether. I've often heard comments like, "I guess this is just part of getting older," or "I don't have the energy I used to." While aging can certainly change how we feel, I don't believe persistent fatigue should automatically be accepted as normal, especially when it continues even after a good night's sleep. Sometimes the real issue has much less to do with age than with a quiet change taking place inside the kidneys. Most people think of the kidneys as filters, but they are also remarkable communication centers. One of their lesser-known jobs is producing a hormone called erythropoietin. Instead of cleaning the blood, this hormone sends a message to your bone marrow, telling it to make new red blood cells. Those red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen throughout your body, delivering the fuel every organ and muscle depends on. I like to compare this process to a factory. Imagine the bone marrow as a factory capable of producing thousands of delivery trucks every day. The kidneys are the factory manager. As long as the manager keeps sending instructions, production continues smoothly. But if those messages become weaker because the kidneys are no longer functioning as efficiently, the factory gradually slows down. Fewer delivery trucks leave the building, meaning less oxygen reaches your muscles, your brain, and every other part of your body. The result is not simply feeling sleepy, it is feeling as though your entire body has less capacity than it once did. You may notice that climbing a flight of stairs leaves you unusually winded. Carrying groceries from the car suddenly requires several trips instead of one. Playing with your grandchildren becomes tiring much sooner than it used to, even though nothing obvious has changed. These are the kinds of everyday moments that deserve attention because they may reflect a gradual decline in red blood cell production rather than a lack of motivation or willpower. If your energy has been steadily fading despite getting enough sleep, eating reasonably well, and staying active, don't assume it is simply your age catching up with you. Your body may be asking you to look a little deeper and consider whether something else is quietly contributing to that fatigue. But tiredness isn't the only place extra fluid can show up. 6. Puffy eyes, a change that may begin before breakfast. One of the earliest physical changes I encourage people to notice happens before they even leave the bathroom each morning. If you regularly wake up with swelling around both eyes, especially around the lower eyelids, it may be worth paying closer attention. Many people assume this is simply the result of a poor night's sleep or getting older, but sometimes the explanation goes a little deeper. Earlier, we talked about protein leaking through the kidney's delicate filters. When that protein is lost over time, the amount remaining in the bloodstream can gradually decrease. Protein does more than build muscle. It also helps keep fluid where it belongs, inside your blood vessels. As protein levels fall, some of that fluid can begin slipping into the surrounding tissues, and the soft skin around the eyes is often one of the first places where it becomes noticeable. I like to compare it to a pillow that has absorbed water overnight. The pillow looks fuller and heavier, not because more material has been added, but because extra fluid has collected inside it. The tissue around your eyelids behaves in a similar way. Since it is naturally thin and delicate, even a small amount of extra fluid can make your eyes appear puffy when you first wake up. If you want to watch for this sign, try looking at your face in natural light over several mornings rather than relying on one day's appearance. Also pay attention to whether both eyes are affected equally. Swelling around both eyes may point toward a whole body cause, while swelling affecting only one eye is often related to a local problem and should be considered differently. As kidney function declines, gravity starts revealing the next clue. 7. Swollen ankles. When gravity reveals what your body has been holding on to. As the day goes on, gravity has a way of exposing changes that are easy to miss earlier in the morning. One place I always encourage people to pay attention to is around the ankles. Mild swelling at the end of a long day is not unusual, especially after standing or sitting for hours. However, when swelling becomes persistent or gradually worsens over time, it may be your body's way of telling you that fluid is no longer being managed as efficiently as it should be. I like to picture your circulation as a long system of water pipes. Under normal conditions, the water keeps moving smoothly because the pressure is balanced and everything flows in the right direction. But if the system begins struggling to regulate that flow, water starts collecting at the lowest point instead of continuing through the pipes. Your body behaves in a similar way. When the kidneys cannot maintain fluid balance as effectively, extra fluid may slowly shift downward throughout the day, making the ankles and feet one of the first places where it becomes visible. At first, the change may seem minor. Your shoes feel a little tighter by evening. Walking through the grocery store becomes less comfortable. Standing while cooking dinner or taking a longer walk may leave your ankles feeling heavy or stiff. Because these changes develop gradually, many people simply accept them as another consequence of aging, rather than asking why they are happening. One simple observation you can make at home is to gently press a finger over the swollen area near your ankle for a few seconds. If a small indentation remains briefly after you remove your finger, it suggests that extra fluid may be collecting in the tissue. This does not tell you the cause, but it is a useful change to notice and discuss if it keeps happening. It is also important to remember that ankle swelling is not specific to kidney disease. Heart conditions, vein problems, certain medications, and several other health issues can produce a similar appearance. That is why this sign should always be considered alongside the other changes we've discussed rather than on its own. There's one final sign that silently damages the kidneys while also being damaged by them. 8. Rising blood pressure, the silent cycle that can damage the kidneys from both directions. When most people think about high blood pressure, they usually picture it as a problem that affects the heart. What I want to show you today is that the relationship is much more complicated than that. High blood pressure doesn't simply harm the kidneys. As kidney function begins to decline, the kidneys themselves can also contribute to blood pressure rising even further. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle, and that is exactly why this final sign deserves so much attention. One of the kidney's most important responsibilities is maintaining a stable balance of blood flow throughout the body. To do that, they rely on an incredibly sophisticated communication network known as the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAAS. You can think of this system as the body's automatic pressure regulator. Under healthy conditions, it adjusts blood pressure whenever necessary to ensure that vital organs receive enough blood. But when the kidneys become stressed or their blood supply changes, this system can remain activated for longer than it should. As a result, blood pressure gradually climbs, placing even greater strain on the kidney's delicate filtering units. Those damaged filters then struggle even more, which can trigger the system again. The cycle quietly repeats itself year after year. I often compare this process to a household water pump that is set to run at a pressure far higher than the plumbing was designed to handle. At first, everything appears to work normally. Water still reaches every faucet, but behind the walls, the constant excess pressure slowly weakens the pipes until tiny areas begin to fail. Your kidneys experience a remarkably similar kind of stress when blood pressure remains elevated over long periods. If you monitor your blood pressure at home, try measuring it at roughly the same time each day after you've been sitting quietly for several minutes. Looking for consistent patterns over several days is far more useful than reacting to a single high reading, since stress, caffeine, exercise, or even a rushed morning can temporarily affect the numbers. Most importantly, don't think of rising blood pressure as an isolated problem. Sometimes it is both an early warning sign and an active driver of declining kidney health, making early recognition especially valuable. So what should you do if several of these signs seem familiar? What should you do next? After hearing these 8 signs, I don't want your first reaction to be fear. I want it to be awareness. The goal of this video has never been to convince you that every symptom points to kidney disease. In fact, each of the signs we've discussed can have many possible causes. What matters is not a single symptom by itself, but the pattern they create when several begin appearing together. If you have noticed 2 or 3 of these changes over the past few months, perhaps persistent foamy urine, increasing fatigue, swelling around your eyes or ankles, or blood pressure that seems to be creeping upward, it is worth taking the next step rather than simply hoping they will disappear on their own. The earlier you investigate, the intrasendai die, the indasenda imbai die. Ni dabwi das di, we intras you may have. To protect the healthy kidney function you still have. The good news is that the first evaluation is usually straightforward. I encourage people to ask about a urine albumin test, which can detect small amounts of protein leaking through the kidney filters. A simple blood test measuring creatinine and estimating your eGFR provides another important picture of how efficiently your kidneys are filtering waste. Since blood sugar plays such a major role in long-term kidney health, checking your HbA1c can also reveal how well your glucose has been controlled over the previous 2 to 3 months. Finally, regular blood pressure measurements remain one of the simplest yet most valuable tools for monitoring kidney health over time. One habit that I believe is greatly underestimated is keeping a small symptom journal before your appointment. Write down when you first noticed each change, how often it happens, whether it is getting better or worse, and anything that seems to make it improve or become more noticeable. Those observations often provide valuable context that a laboratory result alone cannot capture. Most importantly, remember that discovering a problem early is not bad news. It is an opportunity. Many of the lifestyle factors that support kidney health are also the same habits that benefit your heart, brain, muscles, and overall longevity. If you know someone over 50 who might overlook these subtle warning signs, I hope you'll share this video with them. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 8 signs surprised you the most, and was there one you had never connected to kidney health before? If you found this video helpful, a simple like lets me know you'd like to see more evidence-based content like this. Subscribing helps you continue learning how to understand your body before problems become bigger than they need to be. And before you go, I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. Which sign surprised you the most? Before we finish, I don't want you to leave this video feeling overwhelmed by trying to remember every detail we've covered today. You don't need to memorize every medical term or every possible symptom. If there is only one message I hope stays with you after this video, it is this: your kidneys rarely scream. They whisper. They whisper through small changes that seem too ordinary to matter. A little more foam than usual, skin that never seems comfortable anymore, a strange taste that comes and goes, less energy than you used to have. Swelling that appears so gradually, you almost stop noticing it. On their own, these signs may not mean very much, but together, they can become your body's quiet way of asking you to pay attention. I often think about it like taking care of a home. No one waits until the roof collapses before deciding to fix a small leak. When you notice a damp spot on the ceiling, you investigate it early because you know small problems are usually much easier to repair than major damage. Your body deserves that same kind of attention. The goal isn't to live in fear of every new ache or every unexpected change. The goal is simply to notice patterns and respond while you still have choices. One of the most remarkable things about the human body is its ability to adapt. Even after years of unhealthy habits, positive changes made consistently can still support better metabolic health and reduce unnecessary strain on your kidneys. You don't need to become perfect overnight. You simply need to become a little more aware of what your body has been trying to tell you all along. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I truly hope this conversation helps you look at your health a little differently the next time you start your morning.
That's the end of video, and if you think is helpful for you, please subscribing, sharing, and dropping the comment below. Chị Cao hơn không anh?
Have you ever experienced that moment when you rush to the restroom, only to notice something unusual about your urine? Imagine the sudden worry creeping in as you spot a strange color or odor, leaving you questioning what it could mean for your health. It's unsettling to think that something so simple could be a sign of an underlying issue that might affect your overall well-being. Surprisingly, many people overlook the significance of their urine's appearance and odor. According to the National Kidney Foundation, over 37 million Americans have chronic kidney disease, and many are unaware of their condition. Changes in urine can be early warning signs of various health issues, making it crucial to pay attention to these subtle clues. That's why in today's video, we'll explore 5 critical signs in your urine that you absolutely need to know. We'll break down what different colors, smells, and consistencies might indicate about your health and why it's essential to take these signs seriously. Ready to learn more? Let's get started. Have you ever noticed something unusual in your urine? Share your experiences in the comments below. 1. Dark or cloudy urine, a sign of the body. If you notice dark or cloudy urine, it can be an important sign that something is wrong with your body. Normally, healthy urine is pale yellow, similar to the color of light lemon juice, and clear. This color reflects your body's hydration level. When you're well hydrated, your urine will be light in color. Conversely, dark urine, which is often similar to the color of dark tea or brown, is a sign of dehydration, liver or kidney problems. Dehydration is the most common cause, but the color change can also indicate kidney or liver-related problems. The liver and kidneys play an important role in removing toxins and waste from the blood. If these organs are damaged or not working properly, toxins build up in the body, causing the urine to appear dark. This can be a sign of more serious conditions, such as hepatitis or chronic kidney disease. Understanding this change is essential for early detection of potential health problems. A simple yet extremely effective way to fix dark urine is to drink enough water every day. You should drink at least 8 glasses of water every day to help maintain kidney and liver function, preventing the accumulation of toxins. A small tip to easily apply is to always carry a water bottle with you when traveling, and if you are a forgetful person, you can set a reminder on your phone every hour. This helps you keep a regular drinking rhythm without worrying about missing out. In addition, another way to know if you are drinking enough water is to observe your urine. If the color of your urine is pale yellow or almost transparent, your body is well hydrated. If it is dark, you need to drink more water immediately. Dehydration is a factor that can directly affect kidney and liver health. When the body is dehydrated, the kidneys have to work overtime to try to eliminate toxins and retain as much water as possible. This leads to a buildup of toxins in the body, causing health problems such as kidney disease, hepatitis, and impaired liver function. Additionally, prolonged dehydration can increase the risk of kidney stones, a painful condition that may require surgery to remove. Several studies from the Mayo Clinic have shown that maintaining good hydration levels not only supports kidney health, but also helps reduce the risk of kidney stones and other urinary problems. 2. Foamy urine, abnormal sign. Foamy urine is often a sign of protein in the urine, proteinuria. This indicates that the kidneys are not working properly, as the kidney's job is to filter waste products from the blood without allowing important substances like protein to leak out. When there's protein in the urine, this can be a sign of kidney damage or high blood pressure. This is not always serious if it happens once or occasionally, as urinating forcefully or quickly can also cause foam. However, if your urine is foamy on a regular basis, you should pay attention, as this can be a warning sign of chronic kidney disease or blood pressure problems. Healthy kidneys keep protein in the blood, but when there is a problem, the kidney's filtering membranes become less effective, allowing protein to leak into the urine. This is why foamy urine can be a sign of kidney damage. Proteinuria is one of the main signs that your kidneys are having problems. If left undetected and untreated, it can lead to more serious conditions like chronic kidney failure. As kidney function declines, the body's ability to remove waste products also declines, leading to a buildup of toxins in the blood, which can lead to a number of health complications. Furthermore, if protein leaks into the urine continuously, it can affect blood pressure, leading to high blood pressure and worsening cardiovascular problems. Studies from the National Kidney Foundation have shown that early detection and good control of proteinuria can help reduce the risk of developing kidney failure. One way to support your kidneys and reduce your risk of kidney damage is to eat foods rich in antioxidants. Foods like green tea, strawberries, kale, and nuts are not only good for your overall health, but they can also help improve kidney function. Antioxidants help prevent cell damage, while also helping your kidneys remove waste from your body more efficiently. A good tip to know if your urine foam is normal or abnormal is to see if it lasts. If the foam appears after urinating but quickly disappears, it is usually not a cause for concern. However, if the foam persists and does not dissipate over a long period of time, you should consider getting your kidneys checked. 3. Strong or unusual urine odor. One of the first signs we should pay attention to is when the urine has a strong or strange smell. Most of us often think that the smell of urine is not very important, but in fact this is an important indicator of health status, especially the function of the liver, kidneys, and digestive system. The liver is the organ responsible for filtering and removing harmful substances from the body. When the liver is not working properly, these toxins can remain in the body and even be excreted in the urine. This causes an unusual smell, which can be sweet due to the buildup of ketones, in the case of diabetes, or ammonia if the kidneys are not working well. A study from the Mayo Clinic found that people with diabetes often have unusual smelling urine because the liver cannot process glucose as effectively as it works and breaks it down. Normal urine should not have a strong odor. However, if you notice an unusual smell that lasts for a long time, it could be a sign of a medical condition. For example, in the case of a urinary tract infection, bacteria can change the chemical composition of urine, causing an unpleasant odor. These changes not only change the smell but can also signal diseases such as kidney infections, cystitis, or other serious problems. According to the Cleveland Clinic, urinary tract infections are one of the leading causes of unusual odors. An effective way to prevent this condition is to make sure you urinate regularly, at least 6 to 7 times a day. This not only helps to detoxify but also reduces the risk of bacteria accumulating in the bladder, thereby reducing the risk of urinary tract infections. Another tip is to not hold your urine for too long, as this can put unnecessary pressure on the kidneys and bladder, increasing the risk of urinary tract diseases. 4. Urine is pink or red. One of the more noticeable and serious signs is when your urine is pink or red. This is a sign of hematuria, which is the presence of blood in the urine. This can be a sign of many dangerous diseases, from kidney stones, infections to bladder cancer. Hematuria often occurs when there is damage to some part of the urinary system. Blood in the urine can appear when kidney stones move through the ureter, damaging the ureter and causing bleeding. In addition, infections can also damage the tissues in the bladder or kidney, leading to this phenomenon. In more serious cases, red urine can be a sign of tumors in the bladder or prostate. Experts recommend that if your urine is pink or red for a long time, see a doctor immediately. Hematuria can have many different causes, but one thing is for sure, the presence of blood in the urine is always a sign of a problem that needs to be explored and treated. According to a study by the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, kidney stones are one of the most common causes of hematuria, especially in people who are frequently dehydrated or consume too much salt. One important thing you can do to prevent hematuria is to limit your alcohol consumption. Alcohol not only stresses the liver and kidneys, but it also contributes to dehydration, one of the main causes of kidney stones. Another tip is to drink enough water every day, as this helps dilute the minerals in your body, preventing them from accumulating and forming kidney stones. 5. Burning sensation when urinating. As we reach our 50s, maintaining good health becomes more important than ever. One of the easiest ways to keep an eye on your health is by monitoring your urine. There are several warning signs you should be aware of, and one common indicator is a burning sensation when urinating. This burning sensation could be a sign of a number of health issues, most commonly urinary tract infections, UTIs, or urethritis. UTIs are common in both men and women over 50, especially as the immune system weakens or hormone levels change. As we age, our immune system doesn't fight off harmful bacteria as efficiently. For women, the drop in estrogen levels after menopause can also increase the risk of urinary tract problems. A simple way to protect yourself from these issues is by adding vitamin C to your daily diet. Vitamin C not only helps boost the immune system but also acidifies the urine, creating an environment that makes it harder for bacteria to thrive. Fruits rich in vitamin C, like oranges, pineapples, or lemon water, can help prevent urinary tract infections. According to recommendations from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, adults need about 75 to 90 milligrams of vitamin C daily, and this amount can be increased if you're at higher risk of infections. If left untreated, a UTI can spread to the kidneys, leading to more serious health concerns like kidney infection. Kidney infections can cause sepsis and even kidney failure, which is a life-threatening condition. In fact, according to the National Kidney Foundation, NKF, up to 15% of older adults are at risk of kidney failure if they ignore warning signs from their bodies. 6. Little-known tips and information. As we age, particularly for those over 50, paying attention to changes in our urine can reveal a lot about our overall health. Small changes, such as the color, odor, or frequency of urination, can indicate underlying issues like infections, kidney stones, or even more serious conditions related to the liver and kidneys. It's essential to be aware of these signs to maintain a healthy urinary system. One simple yet highly effective way to support your urinary health is by increasing fiber intake in your diet. Most people believe that fiber is only beneficial for digestion, but it also plays a crucial role in helping the liver and kidneys filter out toxins. According to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, adults should aim for about 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily. Fiber binds with toxins in the digestive tract, allowing them to be excreted, thereby reducing the workload on vital organs like the liver and kidneys. In addition to fiber, some natural herbs like corn silk and cranberry are known for their ability to support urinary health. Corn silk acts as a natural diuretic, aiding in the cleansing of the bladder and urinary tract. Meanwhile, cranberry prevents bacteria from adhering to the bladder wall, reducing the risk of urinary tract infections. If you often experience difficulty with urination, drinking unsweetened cranberry juice daily could be a natural way to safeguard your health. Another important factor is reducing your salt intake. Salt can disrupt the body's electrolyte balance and increase the likelihood of kidney stones, placing additional strain on the urinary system. The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends that adults consume less than 5 grams of salt per day to maintain optimal heart and kidney health. Reducing salt not only helps prevent kidney issues but also benefits cardiovascular health by lowering the risk of high blood pressure and stroke. By adopting a healthy diet rich in fiber, utilizing natural herbs, and cutting back on salt, you can maintain a healthy urinary system. It's also important to regularly check your health and be mindful of any changes in your urine, as these can be early warning signs of potential health problems. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. By doing so, you'll always stay updated on the latest health tips that could truly make a difference in your life. In summary, ignoring these crucial signs in your urine could lead to severe health consequences that might sneak up on you. These simple tips are easy to follow and can prevent you from ending up in situations where even doctors might not be able to help. Don't let small issues escalate into life-threatening conditions. You have two choices: follow the advice in this video and protect your health, or risk facing irreversible problems. The decision is yours, choose wisely. The best part is that the advice given here is incredibly easy to implement in your daily routine. Small changes now can prevent serious health problems down the road, making it worth the minimal effort. Remember, there may not be a second chance to catch these warning signs before it's too late. Acting now means saving yourself from potential pain and suffering. While you wait for more valuable health videos, why not check out these 4 recommendations on your screen right now? They're handpicked just for you.
Thank you for taking the time to enjoy our video, and please be sure to subscribe and share this video to everyone, and don't forget to comment below too.